All rise for Judge Casella.
Please be seated. Good morning. I'd like to address the jury. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, today we will be trying a civil case. We must decide this case by a preponderance of the evidence. This means the scales of justice tip one way or another like this. The ruling must be by majority. The case involves two parties, the plaintiff who is bringing the case and the defense. The case involves the following facts. St. Benedict's Church versus Soda Springs. Facts. On November 16, 2017 at 3:17 p.m., Pastor Samuel Keller of St. Benedict Church received a written notice from the Soda Springs Township ordering the church to cease providing their THT program to the homeless teens in the area. St. Benedict Church has a youth group that runs a free social service program in the town for homeless teens ages 11 to 17. This program, known as Teens Helping Teens, or THT for short, was started by Clementine Clare on September 1st, 2017, and provides basic necessities such as hot meals every day, water, a place that is warm to sleep at night, tutoring and counseling arrangements, along with frequent support group meetings. Clementine spent almost a year preparing for this and even wrote a letter to notify the township about everything they were planning to do. While the homeless teens are on the church premises, they are supervised by trained volunteers appointed by the church, especially during the night hours. The letter that Pastor Keller received reads as follows. According to one of the neighbors of the church, Mr. and Mrs. Alexander, the teens of this program, are outside walking around the neighborhood and loitering on the surrounding properties. Mr. Alexander sees these teens in the neighborhood when he arrives home from work and reports hearing them late at night. Mr. Alexander is a teacher at the local high school and complained that many of these teens have discipline problems at school and are not good role models for his daughter. His young daughter told her parents that she's afraid of the teens and that she wakes up at night because of the noise they are creating. Although the church states that there is an adult watching them at all times, Mr. and Mrs. Alexander state otherwise. They complained to the town committee, the town attorney, zoning board, and mayor. Clementine Clare is the daughter of the town mayor. Since Clare, who supports the program personally, morally, and religiously, Sincere Clare, who supports the program personally, morally, and religiously. However, the other town officials all agree that the program legally needs to be shut down because the church is not a residence, nor does it have permission to operate a shelter. Pastor Samuel Keller supports the THT program and is proud of the work his teen group has done to develop and run this program. He believes their arrangement is at the core of their religious beliefs of providing service to those in need. Therefore, THT is an expression of the congregation's religion and protected by their First Amendment rights. Many of the students that go to the nearby high school, as well as many teachers there, support the church and what Clementine Clare has done to help them. High school students are pleased that the homeless teens are getting what they need and want the program to continue. One of the first teens to join our program was given her own room upon arrival and broke down in tears of joy when she saw it. She was given a bed, bed sheets, pillows, and a desk. Minutes after the reveal, she admitted to us that she had never had a bed of her own before. Clementine Clare recorded the whole thing and posted it on YouTube. The video soon went viral thanks to news stations and newspapers picking it up. The comment section blew up with comments about how amazing the THT teens were and how they were doing was making the lives of many teens brighter. Clementine was especially overwhelmed knowing she could make a difference for the teens. The St. Benedict's Church is refusing to close THT and is suing the town for violation of their First Amendment rights by prohibiting the congregation from practicing their religious beliefs. The church filed a civil suit to defend the rights of St. Benedict Church of Soda Springs, New Jersey, to practice its religious beliefs of love thy neighbor and help the poor and weak by providing a safe haven to the homeless teens of Soda Springs. Number one, I do not decide this case, you as the jury do. Number 2, the attorneys are not witnesses. Nothing the attorneys say is evidence. You are to decide this case based on the testimony of the witnesses. Number 4, this case is important to all parties involved. They deserve and are entitled to your close attention and fair judgment. Number 5, the burden of proof is on the plaintiff to prove their case by a preponderance of the evidence. Number 6, your decision must be by a majority. We will now proceed with the case. Counselors, do you have any exhibits to mark as evidence? Plaintiff, defense, clerk, please mark this evidence as thank you. Counselors, are you ready for opening statements? Plaintiff, please come to the podium.
Good morning, Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury and opposing counsel. I am here to represent the Church of St. Benedict's in their fight for justice. Your Honor, the Church of St. Benedict's, a strong and reputable church, started a program to aid their community. They informed the town of their intentions and threw themselves at the homeless epidemic that has plagued our town for far too long. And with the outstanding leadership of Pastor Keller and Clementine Clare, their program flourished, fueled by the church's strong religious beliefs of helping the homeless. That was until a loud minority caused enough commotion to make the town shut down the homeless shelter for outrageous reasons. The town of Soda Springs is assaulting the church's constitutional right of religious freedom through their unguided and ruinous acts. Thank you, Your Honor.
Defense, please come to the podium.
Good morning, Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury and opposing counsel. My name is Rowan Engel, and I'm here to represent the defense, the town of Soda Springs. St. Benedict's case is absurd. The Teens Helping Teens program being run by the church is hurting the town and its residents. The township is doing what they believe is best to protect the citizens of Soda Springs and their young, defenseless children. It is the township's job to protect its people, and that is exactly what Ms. Pickle and Mr. Alexander will testify to today. They are simply doing what is best to protect their neighbors and family. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Counselor. Plaintiff, are you ready to call your first witness?
Yes, Your Honor. The plaintiff calls Ms. Clementine Clare to stand.
Wait, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
State your name for the record.
Ms. Clare, how long have you been a member of St. Benedict's Church?
I have been attending St. Benedict's Church since I was born. I was baptized at the church and was recently confirmed.
Tell me a bit about your previous work at St. Benedict's.
I do my best to try to volunteer for the church. I have volunteered for the church baking cookies for our annual bake sale. On the weekend, I go to the nursery to help with the children. Also, when I was 10, I babysat for the children during the services. And not only have I been involved in working for the church, I've been working for the church's many volunteer programs, including our bi-monthly food drive. We at St. Benedict's do our best to help the community any way we can.
Seeing your history of volunteer work and devotion to the church, I have to ask, why do you work so hard for your community?
Well, from an early age, I've been taught by Pastor Samuel Keller that we should do as the Bible states, especially love thy neighbor, to be good the good Samaritan. I am very devoted to my religious beliefs and doing what needs to be done for others. We have been clear that we are a church that believes that we should get our hands dirty to help our community. It's what God wants of us.
So just to clarify, your church believes in order to worship God correctly, you love thy neighbor and help your community in any way you can. Is that correct?
Yes.
So what prompted you to begin this program?
I approached Pastor Samuel Keller asking him about starting a shelter to help these kids out. He thought it was a grand idea. So after a year of researching other programs, I learned how I could help these kids. After notifying the township of our intentions, we got straight to work. We made sure that our center had a hot meal, clean water, and a warm place to sleep. We got in touch with local counselors and began support groups along with one-on-one meetings. These kids had finally found a home and I couldn't be happier. These kids may have been lost, but now they are found.
Ms. Clare, could you elaborate on this letter to the town?
In a letter to the town, I provided a detailed plan on how THT was to be run and the exact date of its establishment. The letter included that the homeless teens on the church premises would be supervised by trained volunteers appointed by the church, especially during the night hours. We made it clear as possible to the town that we were simply practicing our religion.
And when was this letter written?
June 2017.
Did the town ever respond?
No.
When did the THT open?
On September 1st of 2017.
Did you ever receive any complaints from any neighbors?
Not until now.
What happened in November of 2017?
We got a letter from Soda Springs Township that told us to shut down our program.
What did the letter say?
Dear Soda Springs Township, we, the St. Benedict Church, located on 423 Town Lane, will be starting a Teens Helping Teens program. The leaders of this program will be myself and Pastor Samuel Keller. The Teens Helping Teens program, or THT, is a program where the teens from our church will volunteer to help out the homeless teens living in the nearby towns. We will provide healthy food, a safe place to sleep, support groups, one-on-one meetings by volunteers, and transportation to and from the church. With this program, we're just trying to help the poor and homeless young men and women of the town and to better accentuate our religious beliefs. From Clementine Clare.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you, Counselor. Defense, would you like to cross-examine this witness?
Yes, Your Honor.
Please.
Miss Clare, you said you have been going to the church for a while. How old were you when you started attending?
Since I was born, so I've been going here for 16 years.
You said you were a volunteer, is that correct?
Yes.
Do you have a college degree and training in researching social services?
No.
Do you have any formal training in the following? Clinical psychology,
No.
counseling,
No.
social work?
No.
Do any of your volunteers have these credentials?
Not that I know of.
So in all of these fields required to have effective social program to make positive and lasting impact, you and your program fell flat. Now, did you ever think of asking the township for help to provide you with better equipped therapists or even assistants?
No, we thought we could do this by ourselves.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Sir, the witness is excused. Plaintiff, do you have another witness? Please.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Please state your name for the record.
Pastor Keller, can you tell us what your role in St. Benedict's Church is?
I am the pastor, so I run the church.
Where did you obtain your education to become a pastor?
Princeton Theological Seminary.
For how many years have you been working as a pastor at St. Benedict's Church?
For the past 20 years, so since I was 32.
What types of service projects have you done in your church?
We've done countless food and clothing drives, bake sales, and most recently the THT.
What is the THT and what does it do?
The Teens Helping Teens program is a program where teens who are part of the church provide assistance to other teens who need it. Our program provides 3 hot meals a day, transportation, and counseling from local therapists.
Why exactly did your church create the THT?
It helps to put our beliefs into practice. It shows that we are trying to help everyone, no matter their race, religion, gender, background, etc. Those beliefs being to love thy neighbor and help the poor and the weak.
How does the THT program affect the teens within it?
The program has done a beautiful job in accomplishing our goals, and the kids are very excited to be helping people their age.
How do you know that the THT has accomplished its goals?
One of the first teens to join our program was given a bed, bed sheets, new pillows, and a desk. When she was shown her new room, she broke down and cried with sheer delight. We posted the video with all the permissions required, and it went viral, appearing on news stations around the country. Everyone who saw it reacted with support for our program.
Your Honor, the plaintiff would like to introduce the evidence of the video.
Okay.
I'm not
church give notice to the township before you started the THC program?
Yes, we did. Clementine Clare, the head of the THG program, came to me with the idea of the program. I said yes, and so I made sure that we sent a letter to the township to clarify what we were trying to do.
Did you hear from the town after Miss Claire sent the letter?
As pastor, I haven't been notified by the township about any complaints regarding the THG program until now. If the township would have told me earlier, we could have worked out a solution.
What would you like to see happen with the THD?
I hope we can come to an understanding without abandoning the teens that will be lost without us.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. Defense, would you like to cross-examine this witness?
Yes, Your Honor.
Please.
As leader of the church, do you oversee everything that happens in the church community?
Yes.
So that means you are head of the THT.
Yes.
And you said you are a graduate of the Princeton Theological Seminary. Is that true?
Yes, it is.
While you were there, did you receive a degree in social work,
No.
adolescent counseling,
No.
a law degree?
No.
Pastor, would you agree with me that laws should be followed?
Yes.
Don't you agree with Paul's letter to the Romans that say you have to obey civil laws?
Yes.
And you say that you're dedicated to helping others, is that correct?
Yes.
Are you helping your neighbors deal with the disruptive teens?
No.
Mr. Alexander attends your church. Have you talked to him personally about his personal struggles with having the teens in his neighborhood?
No.
Have you reached out to any of the people making complaints about the program?
No.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. The witness is excused. Plaintiff, do you have anything else to add?
No, Your Honor.
Defense, are you ready to call your first witness?
Yes, Your Honor. The defense calls Mr. Alexander to the stand. Mr. Alexander, for how long have you lived in the town and where do you work?
I've been living in Soda Springs all my life. My parents grew up in this town and I live just down the road from me in the same house that I grew up in. I've been working for Soda Springs High School as a social studies teacher. I have a BA degree in history and a master's degree in secondary education that I got at night at Ajax Graduate School so I could spend time with my daughter. I've been teacher of the year 2 out of the 9 years I've been working here.
When and where was your first experience with the teens from St. Benedict's church program?
THG has started at St. Benedict's Church near my home, and while I'm not opposed to helping the less fortunate, I feel that this program is horribly mismanaged, and these teens are nothing but bad news. I walked outside to wait for the bus with my daughter. She got on the bus and I started walking down the road. When I noticed many teens walking around the high school, I've seen a few of them before, and started to get a little concerned for not only my family, but all the kids at this school. They looked off. They didn't fit in with the rest of the school kids. Old clothes, ripped backpacks, you know.
Why do you feel like the program is mismanaged?
The program at the church may be good on paper, but their management of the program is deplorable. There seems to never be a chaperone, and the teens never stay on the premises. I often see them wandering the streets of the neighborhood and loitering around the town. This is making many of the people in our neighborhood uncomfortable, including my 6-year-old daughter, Charlotte.
How has your daughter been affected by THD?
My dear Charlotte has run into my room at night, scared out of her mind of those teens wandering the streets in their gangs. Have you ever heard your daughter cry? Wouldn't you do anything to help her and make it stop? I would, and I will do anything to keep these kids out of my neighborhood.
Do you have any evidence of these events, any video, audio, or even pictures of these occurrences?
Why, yes. Yes, I do.
Your Honor, may I present to you and the jury with the evidence provided?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander, describe the scene.
I was walking back to school after, putting my daughter on the bus, and I saw these 3 teens just loitering right next to my house. It was just, I was scared that they were just gonna, beat me up. I'm an old man, I don't know how to fight anymore.
Okay, so Mr. Alexander, why are you opposed to the THT program?
Even though I'm a member of the church, I still fear it is a priority to keep order in my neighborhood and keep my wife and daughter safe. THT does not make us feel safe in our own home. Therefore, I've contacted the Township Attorney, Committee, and Zoning Board, and our mayor, although to little avail. There has been news about a viral video circulating the interwebs, but I don't see the merit in this video. It seems like a bunch of baloney to me. Not only have I seen these kids, I know most of them. I've taught at Soda Springs High School for over 9 years, and I know that most of these youngsters are junkies, slackers, goons, you name it.
Objection, Your Honor.
What is the nature of your objection?
Mr. Alexander's testimony is slanderous and completely based on his opinion.
I'll sustain that objection.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. Plaintiff, would you like to cross-examine this witness?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Alexander, you say in your testimony that you've lived in this town all your life. Is that correct?
Yes.
So you would agree that with me that you even know this town like the back of your hand.
Yes?
So since you know this town so very well as you've previously testified, you must know about the homeless problem, correct?
Yes.
And sir, have you ever aided the homeless in any meaningful way?
No.
So to clarify, one of your issues with these teens is that their clothes are old and tattered?
Yes.
So you base some of your judgment on these teens on their clothing, correct?
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. The witness is excused. Defense, do you have another witness?
Yes, Your Honor. The defense calls Ms. Pickle to the stand.
Please.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Please state your name for the record.
Ms. Pickle, you have already established that you are the attorney for Soda Springs Township. How long have you worked here?
Yes, I'm the Township Attorney of Soda Springs. After graduating from Harvard Law School, I came back to my hometown to work, and I've been working there for around 12 years.
Where do you currently reside?
Benville Street, Soda Springs, New Jersey.
Do you have any family within the town?
Yes, my brother lives on Livingston Street with my mother, and he's raising 2 kids.
And how did you find out about the Teens Helping Teens program?
I received a letter from Clementine Clare informing the town about the program. Then I checked the town's laws and regulations regarding operating a shelter.
And did you respond to her letter?
No.
Why is that?
The program seemed to be running smoothly. However, this case is different because the shelter is being held on church property. When the video went viral, more people became aware of it, and we started receiving complaints.
When did you send the letter to St. Benedict's Church?
I sent a letter to St. Benedict's Church when the mayor of Soda Springs informed me about the complaints against the program. It was received by the church approximately on the 15th of November in 2017.
Bailiff, could you please resend the letter? Do we not have it? Oh, so, never mind. Sorry. Miss Pickle, could you read the letter?
Yes.
Thank you.
Dear St. Benedict's Church, this letter serves to inform you that the services you have providing to the teens, known as Teens Helping Teens, must cease. We have had numerous complaints about the behavior of the teens in this program, making families with young children feel uncomfortable. After the complaints, the township also must bring to light the fact that you are not residents nor have been allowed to operate a shelter. You are obliged to terminate housing and other services by the end of the month. Sincerely, Ms. Pickle, attorney for the Township of Soda Springs.
And what was your motive for sending this letter?
I sent it on the behalf of the township, not because of my own opinion. I was just doing my job. The mayor and the township council wanted me to send a letter to the church explaining their practices have to stop. Although the THT is helping these teens, they are only a small part of our town. As township attorney, I represent the whole town and have to protect the rights of all citizens of Soda Springs, not just the homeless teens.
Thank you. No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. Plaintiff, would you like to cross-examine this witness? Please.
Ms. Pickle, have you noticed a problem with homeless teens living in your town?
Yeah.
For the record, Clementine Clare sent you a letter before opening the shelter, correct?
Yep.
Is it true that you read the letter and saw no cause for concern?
Yes.
To be clear, after reading the letter, as a Harvard-trained lawyer, you saw no problem with the program?
Correct.
Did you respond to Clementine's letter?
No, I did not.
Have you sent a letter to the church?
Yes.
What was the purpose of your letter?
To inform the church that they needed to shut down the THT.
Clearly, THT, run by St. Benedict's Church, is disrupting and hurting the citizens of Soda Springs. I respectfully ask you to side with the defense in this case and have THT shut down. Thank you.
Counselor? The plaintiff, please proceed.
Good morning, Your Honor, and members of the jury. I represent St. Benedict's Church. Today you've heard our case and our witnesses have offered solid evidence to support it. You've heard that our purpose for this program, the THT, was to live for the message of loving your neighbor and helping the poor and weak. Our witnesses have also stated that they have done this in order to live out their religious beliefs to their fullest potential. You have also heard that these good-willed people are being forced to shut down their program, even though they had given the township prior notice to what they were doing. Ladies and gentlemen, this church has been merely living by their right to religious freedom given to them by the First Amendment of the Constitution. Today, I ask you to side with us, the plaintiff, to preserve the constitutional rights of St. Benedict's Church. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Okay, members of the jury. I will now instruct you about the law governing this case. First, the burden of proof is on the plaintiff. They must convince you beyond the preponderance of the evidence. If you put all of the evidence on a scale and it tips one way or another, you must decide for that side. It is a majority decision. Secondly, you must decide what testimony to believe. You may use the witness's words and demeanor or behavior to make this decision. Third, you are here to determine the truth and must decide this case without bias or prejudice. It is your duty to consult with each other to reach a majority decision. You will have about 5 minutes to decide this case. I will give you a 2-minute warning when it is time for your decision. If you can select one jury foreperson. Jury four, have you reached a verdict?
We decide with the plaintiff.
Thank you. Have you reached a verdict?
Defense.
What is your 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 verdict?
Plaintiff.
What is your verdict?
Defense.
Plaintiff.
Thank you.
Plaintiff.
What is your verdict?
Plaintiff.
What is your verdict?
Defense.
What is your verdict?
Plaintiff.
What is your verdict?
Plaintiff.
What is your verdict?
Plaintiff.
Ladies and gentlemen, would the bailiff please read the results? Or you can give them to me. Because you have a tie break. We have 8 votes for the plaintiff and 8 votes for the defense. We're going to do something a little different here. We're going to ask for some volunteers, maybe some representatives from each of the juries who voted for either the plaintiff or the defense to state your reasons why you decided to vote. We'll start with the juries that voted for the plaintiff. If you could just tell us what it was that got your group to vote for the plaintiff. What was the key issue?
The plaintiff stated that they were just helping out the community. It wasn't doing too much harm, just that some of the neighbors were getting discouraged from some of the teens walking around. So I feel like if the church just controls it a bit more, they can still stay open.
Okay, thank you. The feeling in your group?
I felt that the First Amendment, freedom of religion, really and them saying that they're practicing their religion, helping out the poor, that really got me on their side.
Okay, thank you both very much. Those juries that voted for the defense, could I see your hands, please? Defense, I'll take 2. Why did your group side with the defense, please?
They were just following the law, and they did what the town thought was best because they got all the complaints, and they just they just did what they thought was best for the town.
Okay, thank you very much. Jen, what was your group's thought?
Well, our jury believes that the defense had a stronger argument.
And why was that?
Just a bit.
What words did you hear them talking about?
Well, that the people were loitering, and that they were scared of them.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you both very much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank the jury for their time and attention. I want to thank the lawyers and my court clerk for their work. This is the conclusion of the case. Court is now adjourned.
Defense, burden of proof.
At some point in the near future, I think this case may have to be retried.
No.
Next